ਉਹ ਹੋਣ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੀ ਪੈਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸਤਸੰਗ।
Only the repetition of the names with the tongue is not enough. That is not the complete simran. In that case, the mind is wandering here and there in the world. The simran should be with the tongue of thought, and the mind should be still. And the experience which you had of the lower plane, there is no question of getting that experience through a satsang if he is doing simran well.
और लगा दो और अगले दिन कभी नहीं दो।
Whenever you sit for meditation, you tell your mind that if he will bother you in your meditation, you will sit for 4 hours instead of 2 hours. And if you will do that, on the next day, he will not bother you.
मन की आदत है कि सत्संगी नूं कराहे पा के ये भी खबर नहीं करता कि मैं तेनू कराहे पा दूं।
It is the habit of mind that he will lead the satsangi to the bad path, and then also it will not make him realize that he is on the bad path.
जिस सिमरन दे के जम नहीं खड़ सकता, दुनिया के ख्याल उस दे के क्या टिक सकता?
Not even the angel of death can stand in front of that simran. Then what is the question of the worldly thought to stand in front of the simran?
साडा जाति तजर्बा है कि ਅਸੀਂ सिमरन नहीं कर रहे होंगे।
Was also not there because when that machine was running, only then the water was coming out. So when he brought that horse, when there was no noise, there was no water also, and again he went back. So he told him to again start the machine, and he again did that. So again there was noise and water, but horse was frightened and he was not coming there. So in that way he was not able to drink the water. So that farmer told that man that, brother, if you are pleased or displeased with me, I don't care, but you will have to make your horse drink the water in this noise. And after that man gave the beating to that horse, and again that horse was brought, and in that noise he drank that water. So it is similar. As long as we are in the world, we have to do our meditation in this tuck in this noise of the world, and mind will always bring the worldly thoughts within us. But when we will give the beating to our mind with the weapon of simran, only then our mind can be controlled, and only then we will be able to do that. So this struggle will always go, and you have to do it. मेरे को उस टाइम दे रहते हो, उसके प्रति मैं ग्रहणकारी नहीं बन सकता। तो आप उसके बारे में मेरे को कुछ बताओगे कि किस तरह से मैं उस परेशानी को दूर करूं?
सिमरन ये साडे मन दुनिया के ख्यालों नाल मेरा हो चुका। कोई भी महापुरुष जब साडे को नहीं जागता है और मन नूं अगे घबराहट हो जाती है कि मैंने हुण कैद होना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि भजन सिमरन यार
Alan was playing with his friend because he was a friend. When
Alan, he asked me what SantJi said about Ronald, and I told him that SantJi
वो बोलता है कि मत ले जा इसको साथ में। तूने पूछा नहीं, उन्होंने बताया?
He said, oh.
ने बोला oh.
मैं बच्चों बारे पूछा।
He asked only about the kids.
No, he told you. He didn't ask. He told.
ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਮੈਂ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਦੇਖ ਭਾਈ, ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਨਾਲ ਲੈ ਜਾਵੇਂ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਦੇਖਭਾਲ ਰੱਖਣੀ।
And I told him that if you are willing to take the any questions? साथ में चोला मस्ताना जी ने चोला का पढ़ा
शायद 1960
in 1960 he left.
And consequently, there was a reason for the also his mission was very much confined to a certain section of the market. The part where he was very remote.
असलियत तो यह है कि समय की कदर करनी चाहिए है, जितना भी ज़्यादा मिल जाए उतना लगा लेना चाहिए।
Truly speaking, we have to appreciate all the moments which we get. Whatever time we can put, that is good for us. मैं चाहूँगी कि आप थोड़ा बहुत सच्चाई के बारे में, सच बोलने के बारे में कुछ कहो, या सच्चा जीवन करने के बारे में।
सच सतोगुण अंशदाय काम क्योंकि सन गुण उस दिन कि आए भाई गड्ढा कढ़ाई। जरा सोच के देखो कि एक आदमी बैठा भजन दे विच उदू 40 मील जिस गल चो कुछ लेना नहीं देना नहीं, गड्ढा किसी दरख्त च फसाई बैठा है कि ये भजन करदा। चलो एक दिन तक किसी फकीर ने पकड़ के प्यार नाल उन्हें पुछया तो उन्हें दस दिता, लेकिन जे वह बरीकी ना उस तो पुछया जाए तो उन्हें सुते पे नहीं उठना नहीं सीगा, तो उन्हें डेयरी च लिख देना सीगा भी मैं 2 घंटे व्यास।
Once some 150 people were sitting for meditation, and there was one man who used to say that he never sleeps in the meditation, but he was using very big comforter. So I used to tell him that when you are using this big comforter, then it is natural that you will get sleepy and you will sleep. But he was not taking my word. He was not believing that. So once a night everybody was meditating and he was sleeping in the meditation and he was snoring. So I got up and at that time it was 3 o'clock and people had started doing meditation. So I called one other man like a witness that he should also come and see that he is snoring and he is not doing meditation. And after that everybody was woke up, everybody was told to get up from meditation, and I asked him that truly you tell me that at what place did you go when you were sitting in meditation and when you were sleeping. So he told me that his other village was 40 miles away from the place where he was sitting for meditation, and he was there and his cart which was full of goods was stopped by one berry tree, and he was calling his brother to help him to get out his cart. So people are sitting for meditation, but their mind is taking them many miles away from him. And after that, when they get up from meditation, they put in the diary that they sat for 2 hours in meditation.
ਅੱਜ ਤਾਈਂ ਕੋਈ ਐਸਾ ਸ਼ਖਸ ਪੈਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਿਸਨੇ ਅਭਿਆਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਭਜਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਉਹਨੇ ਗੁਰੂ 'ਚ ਕੋਈ ਨੁਕਸ ਕੱਢਿਆ ਹੋਵੇ। ਹਾਂ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਨੁਕਸ ਢੂੰਡਦੇ ਆ।
Up to this date, no man has ever come in this world who, after meditating on the practice given by the master, have pointed out any fault in the master. Those who are not doing meditation, only they point out the faults in the master.
ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਵਣ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਅਭਿਆਸ ਕੀਤਾ, ਗੁਲਾਬ ਜਾਮਨਾ, ਰਸਗੁੱਲੇ, ਕਿਤਨੀ ਵੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਹੋਵੇ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਇਹੀ ਕੁਛ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਲੰਗਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ।
And Mastana ji of Balochistan, he got such inspiration from within that he made billions of rupees and he used to give money to the people in Rajasthan. And in his langar he was always puri, kachori and all this. They are very good, delicious food in India and sweet. He used to give all this type of food to all the people always.
ਔਰ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨ ਦੀ ਗੌਰਮੈਂਟ ਬਲੋਚਿਸਤਾਨੀ ਮਸਤਾਨੇ ਦੇ ਮਗਰ ਘੁੰਮਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ। ਅਨੇਕਾਂ ਦਫਾ ਤਲਾਸ਼ੀ ਲਈ, ਅਨੇਕਾਂ ਦਫਾ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਪਕੜਿਆ ਵੀ ਇਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਨੋਟ ਆ ਮਸ਼ੀਨ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਵਾਲੀ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਜਦ ਅੰਦਰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਰੋੜੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਭਰਿਆ ਸਰਾਣਾ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਸੀ।
Many times the government of India was chasing Mastana ji to see that whether he has, and they were suspecting that Mastana ji has the machine to
God made man. Man is composed of body, physical, intellect and soul. Man has, so to say, a physical body, an intellect and soul. There are great possibilities in man which are endowed by God equally well. But the question remains that we have to develop those possibilities within us. Some have developed in one way, the other have developed the other way. We have made so much advancement so far as our physical side is concerned, and along with it our social and political. We have also advanced wonderfully so far as the intellect side is concerned. I need not mention how far we have advanced in that respect. Everybody knows. We have learned how to fly in the air. We can see television, we have got radios and others. But both these things, I mean physical body and intellect, are dependent on the soul which we are, you see. We know little or nothing about that. We only know that much, what is given in the Holy Scriptures. Those saints who came in the past, they did experience their side as a soul, I might say, and developed spiritually. Those who did experience of their own self, and after knowing their own self, they had the experience of our self. They left us. They left us valuable treasures of their experiences which they had with their self and our self, which now exist with us in the form of Holy Scriptures. We are fortunate today in the 20th century that all the saints and the masters who came in the past, their experiences are with us. We have got a wonderful legacy, you might say, with us. Had we come, say, 100 years before, we would not have the sayings of Swamiji Maharaj, the latest saint who came in India. And if we still go back, say, about 500 years back, we would not have the Holy Scriptures of the six, which form, I think, over 1400 pages, big sizes. Still further, if we go back, had we come before the time of Prophet Muhammad, say about 1400 years back, we would not have the Quran before us. Similarly, had we come before 2000 years ago, we would not have the wonderful saying of Christ with us. The point is, whenever these saints came in the past, they gave us the esoteric side of the things, the subjective side of the man, you see. What they've spoken just now, they only gave a history of the physical side of the show, objective side of it, not the inner man, which is the reality, a real man. Even before you go back, Zoroaster came, you see, Jainis, Mahavir came up, Buddha, Lord Buddha came up. Had we come even before those times, you see, we would not have their experience with us. I say, if we had come before the times of the old Vedas, the oldest scriptures in the world, we would not have those treasures with us as well. So I say we are fortunate in this 20th century that all saints who came in the past, their wonderful experiences that they had with their self and with the ourself, all of them are with us. Now it remains, there should be somebody who has the experience of that inner life and can guide us and help us in having those experiences which they had or which they taught at the time when they did come. The difference lies only in the expression, the mode of expression and the language which was prevalent at the time, but the subject matter has been the same. The same thing even now stands, you see. Great is man. There are greater possibilities in man which we have to develop. I have just said that we have developed wonderfully so far as the objective side is concerned, physically and intellectually, but we know little or nothing so far as the intellectual side is concerned. Yes? What's the matter?
Could you make it louder? Because some people can't hear on the back.
I think one loudspoker would have done. If we know the inner man, we can see also the very background of it, the ourself, the real background of the inner man. So first of all, that question is with us, that who we are and what we are. Is this 5 and 6 feet high statue which we are carrying, is this the man? Well, this is the outer man. This is the statue which we have to leave someday. Each man has to leave it. And the day does come when each one of also has to leave this body. That the inner man which leaves the body, that we have to know. That is why all rishis and saints who came in the past gave out that thing, know thyself. Even the old Greeks had to say that, north-east-seated. Guru Nanak and Christ also reiterated the same truth. Well, know thyself who you are and what you are. Those who had experience of their self, how they had that experience, how they could have the experience of the old self. They are wonderful, are the valuable experiences we have got in the Holy Scriptures with us. Nowadays we can read those Holy Scriptures, but to understand the right import thereof, we would require someone who has got experience of that inner self and the over self. If you hear these Holy Scriptures from a man with that experience, you will be able to understand the right import of all those things. If you hear the same thing from an intellectual man, he will no doubt do his best to interpret things, but there may be at places where he will fail very badly. For instance, I will quote you one instance. In all the holy places of all the religions that exist today, you will find a common symbol in all of them. We got temples which are domed shape, like the man's, and there you find the little light and also bell, ringing of the bell over there. In the Sikh temples also it is like that. In Buddhists and Jainis also they have got the same symbol. In the case of Zoroaster, you will find there also the unstruck light, symbol of unstruck light. In the case of the Christians also, the cathedrals are made nose-shaped, like that, T-shaped. Therein also you find candles are lit and bell is going on. This is a common symbol which you find in all the, churches, temples of different social religions. What do they stand for? That's the point. That is something common about which we do not know exactly what for they stand for. I had a Christian superintendent under me when I was in service. He was a Roman Catholic, and I asked him, well, look here, the Bishop of Lahore in India, he was considered to be most advanced intellectually. I asked him, well, will you go to Bishop and asked him, what does these two symbols stand for? He went to him and asked him, well, what does this symbol of the bell going on stands for? He replied, it is only to call men together. We take it all right. So far as the church is concerned, this may stand for that. But in other temples you'll find the man who enters the temple, he rings the bell. So there's some common symbol, some symbol which stands for some experience inside, about which we know nothing so far. You'll find here that an intellectual man will feel where. It is a symbol of the sound principle going on in the reverberating in the whole universe and in the body of man. This is a symbol which stands for that in almost all religious places. So this is what I say. We can read the Holy Scriptures, but we cannot grasp the right import of them until we come across a man who has got experience of the inner self. So these are experiences which man had and now also can have. If some personality, someone who has experience of the same thing within and is competent to give you the lighting of the light in all the temples and mosques and churches, you'll find that's the light of God, symbol of the light of God. So there's light of God within everybody. There is sound principle going on, can be heard in everybody. Those who had experience of it, when they were asked, well, have you seen God? Is there a God? What did they reply? This question was put to Christ, and he said, behold the Lord. He does not give any reasoning for it. He says, behold the Lord. He says, there, you see it. The same question put to Guru Nanak in India. Well, is there a God? He says, yes, he is appearing everywhere. I see him. You remember the name of Vivekananda who came to America some time back? He was an atheist before. He was challenging everybody. There's no God. If there is there any man who has seen him? So he was just directed to one personality in Calcutta in India. When he went over to him, he asked him, Master, have you seen God? And he looked into his eyes and said, yes, my child, I see him just as I see you, even more clearly. Which are those eyes with which that can be seen? Guru Nanak says, those eyes are different with which we can see him. That eye is in every man, but still closed. We require opening of that eye. In Christ refer to it, eye is the light of the body. Yes, please. Beg pardon? Demoralize what?
Is it possible to immortalize the physical vehicle?
The point is like that, you see, I'm speaking of the spiritual side. I'm not taking of the physical side now before me. Spirit is lasting, you see. Physical body is subject to decay. If with supernatural powers you can maintain it for longer life, it may be, but it is, I think, not worth as compared with the spiritual life. This is only by the way of understanding certain things. They are not very clear because you will see that everything is not possible to be given out in one talk. That requires a series of talks, subject by subject. We can dwell more on each point. This was a general digest laid before you see. If you people have got any particular point of view to be understood, but to the best I know, I would say, man cannot claim that he knows everything, but to the best I have learned, I have seen, you are all welcome to come to me, but during the time I am here, and that time might be fixed. I think, Mr. Khanna, if anybody would like to come and just know more about these things on particular points, because in general talks every point cannot be touched in detail. Only cursive view can be given. But if anybody is, after the solution of something, perhaps, I hope, I might be able to give you more light on the subject.
May I say something? The Master teaches that God made man and man made tradition. But the science he teaches is the oldest in existence, from which all religions, all philosophies, all yogas stem or begin. Where he starts is where all religions, all philosophies, all yogas end.
Even now, this is an old science, as I would say, not new thing which I am just putting before you, but we have forgotten. Now, there is a dire necessity of someone who has got experience of that very thing within himself and is competent to give you first an experience. The qualification of a saint is given by almost all the masters who came in the past, who can open our understanding, open our inner eyes to see the reality with one's own eyes. Shams Tabriz, the Mohammedan saint, he says we should be able to see God with our own eyes and hear His voice with our own ears. This is what all other saints did say so. When that question is put to us, is there a God? What we say, what we have to say. We simply say, Bible says so, Quran says so, and other holy scriptures say this and that thing about that thing, or such and such saint has said so. They are correct. But it is they who have said so. What have you to say on this subject? That's the point. Have you got any first-hand experience with yourself? The question of experience with the ourself will come only when you know yourself, who you are, what you are. At present we are, as it we are, the body is itself. We cannot transcend it, we cannot analyze it at will. Unless we know ourselves, we cannot know ourselves. So, self-knowledge precedes God-knowledge. You will say then there are so many people who are believing in God. Excuse me, they have not seen God. So long as they have not seen it, they are not theists in the true sense of the word. I am seeing you. I am theist of you people. I know you are because I have seen you. We have heard in some people there is a God. We have learnt in holy scriptures that there is a God. No doubt we have got that informal thing, but we have not seen it. Unless we see a thing, we are not convinced. We learn, you see, from the holy scriptures, we hear from the saints that there is a God. When we find parallel experiences of so many saints who came in the past, we can take that as an experiment maya. to take up the subject, but we are not fully convinced until we see the reality with our own eyes. For instance, a sick patient is there. Doctor comes up and says, you have got water in your belly. He has not seen the water in the belly, but because an expert man has come up and he says so, the most thing he can do, he will send for a board of doctors. They come up, they all diagnose the same disease. He gives in intellectually, you see. And the doctors say, well, this operation is very dangerous, you might die. Give us in writing, even if you die in operation, we are not responsible. And he gives in writing and the testimony of few of the doctors before him. This is only I am mentioning by the way to show there is a God. The saints who came in the past, all holy scriptures, what they say, they are correct. But the question is, so long as we do not see for our own self, we cannot be fully convinced. Masters say we cannot be convinced even by the sayings of the masters unless we see that reality with our own eyes. That's the teachings of the old saints in the past. They believe in an experience which we can have today, in this very life. We are not to wait till after death. So this has been the subject before us ever since the world began. There are two sides of the religion, you say. One is the outer objective side and the other is the subjective side. Objective side, or the apravidya as it is called in the Sanskrit, consists in all outer forms, rituals, formalism, reading of scriptures, visiting holy places, and all other rituals concerned with them. This is the preparation of the ground, elementary steps to be taken up just to create love of God, just to direct or divert our attention from outside and direct to something higher. These are helping factors, but not the be-all and end-all. Be-all and end-all before us is to know ourselves and to contact ourselves. This is a subject which has been one for all humanity, and still it is the same. You may belong to any social religion. So to have a social religion is a blessing, I would say. God made man, and man made social body. Because man is social, he will have to live in some social body. Otherwise, he will have to just create another social body to live on. So that is why when Christ was approached with that question, that the king over there wants tribute to be paid, what have you to say on this subject? He said, all right, give unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, and what is God's to God. All bodies belong to the social bodies we are born in, you remain there. But your souls are of God. Just know yourself and contact with God. This is a subject with us ever since the world began. This is the solving of the mystery of life. And until that is solved practically for us, we cannot be at peace. We will be groping for something which, when that is known, nothing else remains to be known. This is what the Upanishads say. What is that? Knowing which all other things are known. Man is satisfied forever, and that is knowing oneself and knowing ourselves. You would ask, well, what particular sect I am preaching? Well, I am preaching that very subject before you. We are to remain where we are in any social bodies we are born, remain there. The teachings of those social bodies are all common. They all enjoin chastity of life, non-violence, not to think evil of others, be truthful, have chaste lives. Chastity is life and sexuality is death. God is in all human beings, in all creation, love all, have hatred for none, and selfless service. These are the 5 pillars, I would say, which form the ethical life preached by almost all the social religions that exist today. So that is the qualification for a man to go in for the knowledge of self and knowledge of God overhead. Remain where you are, but you are soul of God's, devoted to God. So that is why the subject matter before me, I am running only as a school of spirituality. Spirituality means science of the soul. Just as medical line is the science of the body, all are equally endowed with the same 2 eyes, 2 ears, mouth, all limbs, outer form of the man is the same, and inner construction is also the same. And the disease for which we are suffering, that each man's soul is in the control of the mind, and mind is in control of the outgoing faculties, so much so that we have forgotten ourselves, who we are, what we are. This is the disease each one of us having. We have to analyze ourselves, know ourselves, and then know ourselves. This is we have to solve. So I have taken up only the subjective side of the things and putting before you. To be born in a temple is a blessing, I would say, but to remain there attached in a bigoted form, narrow-mindedness, that is creates more sin than good. So I am only talking from the subject matter of the science of the soul. This is what I have got before me. The master at whose feet I had the good fortune to sit in India, he gave me that thing to just create a common ground for all to sit together. I think this is the first of its kind, on which all brothers are coming up, those who are really seeking after the truth. So all saints and rishis who came in the past, I have respect for all of them. Those who are at present, my respect also goes to them. Those who may come in the future, for them I also have the same love. So I have come as a humble admirer of all those saints who came in the past, whether in one country or the other, and I respect their teachings so far as they are concerned with the esoteric side or the subjective side of the thing. As regards the outer side, the objective side, they have got their own forms, their own ways of living and rituals and other things. I have also respect for them, but that I do not take as the be-all and end-all. Be-all, end-all is knowledge of the self and knowledge of the ourselves, you see. This is one before us. For that purpose, this platform on which I am speaking today, that is a gathering of the spiritual people, all seekers after truth. So this is the standpoint. I am explaining only to put before you. Some people do ask what sect you profess. And as physically I remain in the form where I am born, you are fully, have full, chance to remain where you are, remain there. Changing of the outer form do not help and won't help. You have to change inner self. You have to know yourself and the overself. With these few words, I have just, as I have said just now, that I have regard for all saints who came in the past. All holy scriptures are mine. And when I read through them, you see, I find the same parallel thought running through them. That the knowledge of the self and the knowledge of the overself. I'll just quote you, give you some reference from different saints, not in one day. Try to, in a series of lectures or talks, I will be able to give quoting from one or the other holy scriptures to show you that the inner science of the soul is the same one for all. It has not changed. Nature's laws do not change and have not changed. So far, we do not know anything for tomorrow, but so far they have not changed. They are always easier and one for us all, you see. I'll just quote one hymn from Kabir first, that another from another saint, just from day to day, when we are holding talks here, I will try to give you quotations and references from all, so far as I know, because man cannot claim that he knows everything, but so far I have gone through these different holy scriptures and I have found the truth of it that I will lay before you. Now I will Kabir has been a father, I would say, of spirituality in the East. His sayings I'll just quote to you. He says, these saints always address the souls, you see, and soul bodies, not to any particular sect or social religion. That's the first thing. These saints always give their instruction to all mankind as a whole. They do not come for any special sect. Of course they are born somewhere, but they rise up so much that all, for them, all humanity becomes one. They have got one social body of all humanity. So they always address the souls. Here he says, awake, O soul. You'll find here the word awake is used. It means we are sleeping somewhere. A man asleep does not know where he is, who is he. He sees so many things in dreams while asleep, but he does not know the very self who is seeing at the time. When he wakes up, he sees, oh, he had a very good sleep. He's got some experience which he cannot know at the time he is sleeping. So where we are sleeping, that's the point. Our souls, you see, under the control of mind. Mind is under the control of the outgoing faculties. We are identifying ourselves with the body so much so that we are asleep from within. We do not know who we are. So this word has been used almost by all the rishis who came in the past. Vedas say, awake, arise and stop not until the goal is reached. Where we are sleeping, we are in a delusion, I would say. we are not the bodies, we are the indweller of the bodies, but we see, we look, we behave just as it were we are the body themselves. So we are asleep. Awakened people, those who analyze themselves from the body, when they address the soul, look, your soul, why not awake? Why are you asleep? Wake up. The time has come now, because this awakening can only come in the body of a man. There is so much creation of God, but of all, the man is the highest rung of the all creation. Man has got, you see, intellectual, discriminative power. He can discriminate between the right and the wrong. So man is endowed with that power, and while as a man you can do that much. You can differentiate yourself in theory first and then practically. That much you cannot do in any other form of creation. So masters, when they come, they always address, say, all right, awake. Why are you sleeping even now? The day has come in which you can wake up. So it is in mankind that you can wake up. You can know yourself. You can know yourself and no other creation. Kabir says, look here, the time has come now, the day has arisen that you have got the body of a man. Now you can analyze yourself and know yourself, and as such know the overself. So he addresses the soul, why are you asleep? Why not wake up? The day has come. Even now if you are keep on sleeping, then when this opportunity, golden opportunity you have got now in the body of a man, when that will end, that opportunity will cease. Now he says, well, all right, those who have awakened, who woke up, what did they find? He said they found a very valuable thing within themselves. They knew themselves who they are and what untold treasure of divinity they have got in them. Those who woke up. Those who did not woke up, in that case, they passed their lives in their life of the senses and did come and does come, you see, one day. And when this opportunity is gone out of their hands, he simply repents, just sheds 2 tears and passes out. So he's laying stress, why not wake up, O soul? You got the body of a man now, it is thy turn to meet God. You have to wake up from the delusion you are in now. You are not the body, you see that you are the body. You behave just like the body. All holy scriptures say the world is subject to decay and the body is also subject to decay. But what we do, how we behave, we do see with our own eyes that body like us, we have seen something going out of it which we call soul. So long as that soul is living in this body, this is a living and everybody pays respect to us. When that soul leaves the body, well, dust go out and to dust return. For some people carry you to the graveyard or to the cremation place and this life sojourn is over. So masters always address the people as in soul bodies, to the souls they give the address. He says, if you wake up now, you will find very untold treasure of divinity now existing in you. If you do not wake up, this hidden treasure of divinity which lies in you already, that will pass out. You will not be benefited by that because you have been leading the life of the senses only. You have to transcend them. This is what Kabir says, He says you have just lost this golden opportunity of a man in your life of senses which you are leading almost from morning till evening. You are doing what? You are just doing work in connection with your body, are developing your intellect, and not devoting any time whatsoever to know yourself, who you are, what you are. That's the most important thing, and unfortunately, the most ignored. Now he says that the Lord is the Lord of all universe, and that is our Lord too, Lord of our souls as well. Yes, He is all wise, all wisdom, and you have been simply befooled in the outward sensuous life. You have not diverted from there your attention to see something higher which already exists in you. What is divinity? Divinity is the expression of divinity already exists in man. This is no imposition from outside. It is already there. You are divine in nature. But that divinity, that divine nature has been attached so much so to the outer externalism that you have forgotten about the divine in you and your own self. You simply lead the life of the outer self, you see. Now he says, you should have done as a man, you should have prepared for the coming of the Lord to you. For that purpose you had to just know yourself first and then prepare the way for the Lord, but you have not done that. We had done so much, as I've already said, for developing the physical side, your householdership, your social life and political life. You have also developed wonderfully so far as your intellectual side is concerned, but you have done little or nothing to prepare to know yourself and know God. That was man is the opportunity, you see, that you have got in which you could have done that, but you have not done so. So he wakes up. Kabir says, well, wake up, dear soul, what are you doing? You have been, he said, like a madman. Madman does not know what he is doing. You see, he is not conscious of what he is doing. He is doing something always, but he is not conscious of it. People say he is mad, but when you ask him, are you mad? He said, no, I am not mad. Similarly, those who are awakened, they do see we are going like madmen into the outer enjoyment of the outer senses. But when you ask them, are you a madman? Oh, no, I am the most wisest man on earth. So he says, you have lost your opportunity. You are so many days in life which you have now, coming some 20 years, 10 years, 30 years, 50 years. That past life is you have frittered away, lost in vain. Now wake up and make the best use of your life now. So for that purpose he says, just wake up and see where is your Lord. We have got self, we are souls, and God is the soul of our souls, you see. Our souls are directed outside. We have to invert. If we invert, we could have seen Him. You see, we could have seen Him. But inversion, we have not learned how to do it. Emerson said, tap inside. Tapping inside means inversion inside. We are leading a life of senses outer, externalism. So he says, well, look here, just wake up and see where is your Lord. He is with you, ever with you. All holy scriptures say so. All saints who came in the past, they also say so. But why not wake up and see where is your Lord? Is it with you? If you turn your inside only, you will be able to see. When your inner eye is open, you will be able to see Him even in all creation, with open eyes. But so long as your inner eye is not open, you are nowhere. So that is why he says, wake up and see where is your Lord. That was the main thing, that was the main mission before us in our human birth, that we should have known ourselves and known God. So ultimately, Kabir says that God is the very life of your life. Unless you invert inside, you cannot see Him. So the truth remains that we are not the bodies, we are the indweller of the bodies. When time does come, the time of great final change which we call death, that does come to all, one and all. Even if we close our eyes to it, even then that would come. You see? Like a pigeon, if a cat coming in front of him, he closes his eyes, does not catch hold of him. Even if we forget, we have leave the body someday. This is no bugbear, I tell you, but it is a fact which awaits every man. Are we prepared for it? That's the point. And what preparation is there to know the inner man, with whose presence this body is being illumined, and we move and do all these things, outer things. Pity it is we know so much about the body and not the indweller of the body. So all saints who came in the past, they did direct our attention towards that which are the most important subjects, and unfortunately we know little or nothing about it. The most important it is, the mostly ignored we have ignored it. So this was one of the Kabir's saying I just put before you, and similar another for a few minutes, so that I would not take longer time, only to show you that these saints who came in the past, this is a saying from the fifth Guru of the sixth. He says, look here, when you rise up in the morning, what you do? You simply go on just doing things in connection with the body. You wake up, you bathe, you answer the calls of nature, you do exercise, you take food, go to the vocation you are following, some going to the business, others for service, and others for other things. The whole day you spend in that, you earn the money, in the evening you return, you just purchase something required for the household and look after your children, take your food and go to sleep. Again rise up, the same routine again. You think that is only visiting the holy places? I mean the churches, temples and others for a little time, hear some sermons, read some scriptures and go back. Reading of scriptures, attending the churches or the temples is the elementary step, no doubt. But that is not the end all, I say. We have to make the best of what you learn in the holy scriptures. We have to live up to it and see those experiences, have those experiences which they had in our own lives. Unless when we go to the church, what we say, there is a God. Oh God, have mercy on us, that's all right. Scriptures all say so, there is a God, but have we seen God? That's the point. Unless we see Him, we have got some experience of the great reality, we are not convinced. To see things is something else, to understand is something else, and to read scriptures only, that is something else. So all we are to make the best use of all these things until we come up to the point to see the reality with our own eyes. As all great saints who came in the past, they did say in their holy scriptures like that, behold the Lord. God is seen everywhere. That inner eye has to be open with which He is seen. That is the third eye in each man. That is called Shivanetra in the Sanskrit scriptures, and the Nukta is found in the Mohammedans. So that inner eye has to be opened. So he said this is what all men are doing. And in this delusion, I would say, the end comes all at once and the man is cut off. The inner dweller of the house is gone. He has been pursuing all along in connection with the body and intellectual attainments. But he has not known himself, so when the time comes all at once to leave the body, he is in a nonplussed condition. He doesn't know what to do. He simply repents, just sheds tears and passes out, that's all. So Guru Arjuna says, well, look here, in this life of delusion as you are following, what you should do. He said, just attend, have the company of somebody who is awakened, who has known himself, who sees the reality with his own eyes. You should attach yourself, have the company of that particular saint before you. What will you gain thereby? You will learn how he has known himself. He will give you first an experience of the self and of the old self. How little it may be, there is no question of quantum, but you will have some experience of the beyond, of your own self and of the old self. If you know that you have that thing in your life now, so by first an experience what you get at the time when he initiates you into the beyond, you can develop that.